AI isn't coming for your job. In fact, you might be getting a massive raise. You're about to either become superhuman or completely obsolete. We've generalized work into 3 different categories, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which category you fall into and how to own your own future instead of being left behind.
For the first time ever, concerns are growing about
AI may be coming for some job sectors, but...
If you're new here, my name is Mike. Over the last decade, I've made millions of dollars playing professional poker. I've built and exited a digital marketing agency. I've studied physics and artificial intelligence at a top 10 university, and I've 24x'd my investment portfolio. I've spent my entire life analyzing complex systems to boil them down to their first principles. Now, I spend 60 hours a week doing the exact same thing with artificial intelligence. I built AI Made Simple to take complex AI topics, simplify them, and then show you how you can use AI to improve your life. Today, I'm tackling the elephant in the room. What will AI mean for your work? I've approached things from first principles and developed a framework you can use to understand what you'll experience in your career over the next couple of years. AI disruption isn't one giant wave that suddenly wipes out the economy overnight. It's a highly calculated, iterative restructuring of the workforce that happens in phases. At times, you'll be superhuman, and your value to the company will skyrocket. And at other times, quite the opposite. You'll be more than useless. In fact, you'll actually slow down the work. We've divided work into 3 different industry categories, so you can easily figure out how this will play out in your industry. How each phase of the disruption will happen and how quickly depends on which of the 3 industry categories you're in. Don't worry, I'll explain it all crystal clear, and I'll even give you a specific game plan, so depending on which industry you find yourself in, you can flourish in the future. AI disruption is going to happen in 3 distinct phases. Exactly when and how depends entirely on one single factor. That factor is physics. The mechanics of AI disruption are bound by how tethered your industry is to the real world. In the digital world, we have 9 sextillion transistors. This means there are literally 10 to the 22nd power calculators available for computation in the digital world, or 9 billion trillion. These transistors are your worker bees, doing whatever you need to get done in the digital world. And as stated before, there are sextillions of them available. You could get access to billions of these worker bee transistors for pennies. But in the real world, good luck getting access to billions of workers. There's just not enough people to do the work, and we're limited by travel speed, battery life, and raw materials. We don't even have 1 million reliable humanoid robots compared to 9 billion trillion transistors. An AI can write 1 million lines of code in a fraction of a second. The same amount of code would take a human being 40 years on a keyboard. Because of this massive divide between digital speed and physical reality, we can divide work into 3 different categories. Number 1, the pixels industry. Number 2, the hybrid industries. And number 3, the physical industries. Each of these industries will go through 3 phases. Number 1, the upgrade. Number 2, the handoff. And number 3, the replacement. But what each of these phases looks like for the worker and how quickly they will happen depends on which category industry you're in. I'll map out exactly what is coming for each one. But first, let's open with an illustrative story from the past. At the beginning of the AI revolution, a top computer scientist predicted that all radiologists were going to lose their jobs. What has happened since was quite the opposite. Demand for radiologists and their salaries skyrocketed. As AI helped a radiologist process more and more scans, hospitals could significantly reduce the costs they charged customers. And when the scans went from costing $500 to $100, it didn't just 5x the demand for scans, it 50x'd it. Salaries jumped massively because there wasn't enough radiologists to handle this new demand. Because radiology is a hybrid industry, one that has both a digital element, the scans, and the physical real-world element, the radiologist who interacts with the patients and also is accountable for double-checking the AI, the disruption happened differently than if it were an entirely digital or physical industry. We'll talk more about hybrid industries in the second section. For now, let's start with the simplest disruption, the entirely digital industry, the pixels industry. These are nearly fully digital industries, like software development, digital marketing, copywriting, and finance. Because there's little physical friction here, the disruption is happening at lightning speed. To see how this plays out, let's look at a day in the life of the fictional person. We'll call him Alex. Alex is a mid-level software developer. In phase 1, the upgrade, Alex's job title doesn't change, but his output explodes. Now, Alex, instead of spending 3 hours writing a standard website login page from scratch, Alex types a prompt grabbing what he wants in the login page, including what coding languages to use, what design elements, and what features. His AI instantly generates the baseline code in seconds. Alex then tells the AI to tweak certain areas that aren't exactly as he wants it. During phase 1, Alex will still have to double check the code for silly errors, and may sometimes even end up writing some things from scratch if the AI just can't get it right. But for 75% of his tasks, the AI is finishing his work or getting it to near completion. Work that would normally take hours, the AI is doing in seconds. He leaves work doing the output of 5 developers who aren't using AI. His productivity is through the roof, and he's highly valuable to his company because of his increased production. Alex gets a raise because of his increased production relative to everyone else. The company's profit margins increase because customers are still used to paying the old costs, and the company is producing much more output. In phase 1, because AI is new to adoption in this industry, those that are capable of using AI to increase their productivity are getting paid 25 to 50% more than those who don't. Then we hit phase 2. The handoff. This is the phase software development was at in early 2026. The AI gets smarter and stops making basic errors. The AI is able to complete 95% of Alex's tasks better than Alex and at a small fraction of the time. We're talking 0.01% of the time or even less. Now, Alex is acting like a manager. We're not just talking login pages now. Alex tells an AI agent to build an entire checkout system. An AI agent is an AI that would normally be really good at one specific task, and it's not good at many other tasks. In this example, the AI agent would be really good at writing code. Alex is the middleman between the company's needs and the AI agent building the project. After he gives the AI the prompt, the AI goes off, writes thousands of lines of code, and Alex simply reviews it and tests it. Alex transitions from being a writer to being a proofreader. Phase 2 in the pixel category is where the job market fractures. At this point, startups are building their entire business foundations around AI. And because of this, they're creating tremendous value with a skeleton crew. These AI-enhanced developers are in hot demand and fetching a massive bump in salary over traditional developers. On the other hand, bigger corporations are feeling the competition from these young startups, but they have a lot of legacy employees and they're not ready to adopt the new technologies. The whole corporation is much more risk averse to being early adopters of this newer technology. So they start to test this technology at the edges and look for low-risk ways to implement it into their already existing systems. This is unlike the startup mentality of building these systems with AI at the foundation. These bigger corporations pause hiring. Some of the front-running corporations start to pivot and announce layoffs. Everyone, both the startup and the larger corporations and everything in between, are looking for the employees that have proven they are AI enhanced and can output significantly more production than their AI disabled counterparts. While phase 2 is the beginning of the layoffs at the larger corporations, the opposite is happening at the startup level. Because the cost per line of code has gone down by multiple magnitude, we're talking 1000x plus, the startup industry absolutely flourishes and every new idea becomes a profitable business model. Demand for AI-enabled coders actually outpaces that of the previous era for software developers, which was a big surprise for many people. Finally, we hit phase 3, the replacement. In the pixels industry, this means that the cost of digital creation drops to near zero, cost parity with the cost of electricity. This means producing the equivalent workload of a $150,000 salaried software developer over a year might cost you $1 or less. AI has become more efficient as each AI agent becomes more specialized in certain types of tasks. In addition, AI agents can now manage and oversee other AI agents. You will have an AI agent that writes code from scratch, in addition to a separate AI agent that tests that code for errors, as well as an AI agent that monitors that code and does live changes when needed. At this point, Alex is totally displaced. Having Alex manually review the code massively slows down the production of the code. Alex has gone from an asset to a bottleneck. AI-enabled coders are no longer a thing in phase 3. as the AIs have gotten so good, you need only direct it on a vague goal, and it'll execute at superhuman capacity. The business model completely flipped. Think about a digital marketing agency that used to need 50 employees to run copy, design, and ad buying. In phase 3, a founder can run an entire agency with one person and a swarm of AI agents. Alex uses the same swarm to build a billion-dollar software company entirely from his bedroom. At this point, the value shifts entirely from skilled execution to creativity of ideas. We'll be doing a long-form video on the ramifications of when labor is cheap and plentiful, and ideas are the differentiating factor, and what that means for the world. So make sure to follow along and subscribe if you'd like to see that video. Now, what happens when you introduce human emotion and physical interaction into the mix? The timeline slows down. Welcome to Category 2. Hybrid industries. These are industries like healthcare, real estate, education. You have to be there in person, but your day's bogged down with administrative data. The paperwork. Let's look at Dr. Sarah, a general practitioner. Right now, she spends 2 hours doing paperwork for every 1 hour she spends with patients. But in phase 1, the upgrade, the AI eats the paperwork. An ambient AI in the room listens to the doctor's appointment, instantly writes the patient's chart perfectly, and handles the insurance coding. The human is still 100% necessary, but the administrative bottleneck is gone. Dr. Sarah has just tripled her productivity by using AI. Dr. Sarah can look at her patients in the eyes again. Her clinic's productivity triples, and she becomes 3 times more valuable. Radiology, as we discussed earlier, was a first mover to incorporate these technologies and has been experiencing phase 1 for a while. For years now, radiologists have increased in value. Then comes phase 2, the handoff. In this phase, AI becomes statistically better at diagnosing a rash than Sarah. Or think about your local real estate housing market. In phase 2, you no longer need a human real estate agent to pull historical tax records or analyze market comp. An AI does it instantly and more accurately. The AI also handles all the strategy, data, logistics, and paperwork. So what does the human do? They're kept around to both be the emotional bridge and the accountability when an edge case happens. Edge cases are ultra rare situations in which the AI does not have enough data to understand what to do and can be prone to making errors. Someone needs to be accountable when the AI fails. And in these service relationships in big industries like healthcare or real estate, they'll keep a human in the loop until phase 3. The doctor verifies the AI diagnosis and delivers it with empathy. The real estate agent reads over the AI's report to double check and manages the buyer's anxiety during escrow when the home inspection goes sideways. At this point, companies stop hiring for technical skills and hire almost exclusively for emotional intelligence and trust building. In phase 2, the people working in these industries will become much more valuable and pay will increase. This is because their productivity has increased. These people can see many more customers and therefore make more money for themselves and their companies. These hybrid industries in phase 2 still need a trained professional in the loop who's accountable for any failures as they become much more efficient. There will not be enough of these trained professionals. This is exactly what happened with the radiologist. Now, in phase 3, the replacement, the baseline service becomes first digitized and then entirely automated. You need to rebuild the entire hybrid structure on a digital platform. This is why phase 3 in the hybrid industry will take the longest to get to out of any of the phases we talked about so far. In phase 3 of the hybrid industry, you get a perfect medical diagnosis from an app for pennies. Or you execute a standard real estate transaction via a smart contract. You don't have a doctor physically seeing every patient, and you don't have a real estate agent taking you to house after house. Everything has been digitized, and because the AI is so cheap and so efficient, human interaction becomes a luxury good. It's like using a horse for travel when cars are available. You only do it because it's enjoyable, not because it's the fastest or the cheapest way to travel. And just as owning a horse is incredibly expensive, empathy and human interaction will become the most expensive services on Earth, which people will pay a premium for. Envision a massage with a human versus a massage with a robot, and you could easily see someone paying a premium for the human, but the robot offers a much more affordable option for muscle relaxation. Finally, we hit category 3, the real world. This is where AI runs headfirst into the brick wall of the laws of physics. These are the trades: plumbing, construction, electrical work, agriculture. Because we don't have billions of robots to do the work, and because building those robots would require trillions of dollars in capital expenditures, the timeline to get to the real world phase 3 is absolutely the longest. Take Tom, a local plumber. In phase 1, the upgrade, the AI doesn't touch his physical tools yet. It lives in his van. The AI optimizes his driving route to avoid traffic. It perfectly predicts when to order copper piping based on global supply chains. And it also handles the customer service and invoicing. Tom does the same exact physical job, but his business runs with ruthless digital efficiency. His profit margins expand, not because he turns a wrench faster, but because his back-end operations are flawless. He's automated his customer acquisition, customer management, and his operational efficiency. In phase 2, the handoff, the AI steps into the job site, but as the brain, not the hands. Tom puts on a pair of augmented reality glasses. He doesn't need to guess where a leak is behind the drywall. The AI analyzes the wall in real time and overlays a blueprint right in his field of vision. In early 2026, AI started to do the rudimentary stages of this with real-time analysis off of video on your phone. But more real-world training data will be necessary for improvement. As of early 2026, the physical world still remains in phase 1. When you can use AI for real-world problem solving, this will cause the skill floor to drop dramatically. You will no longer need 20 years of experience to be a master tradesperson. You just need a reliable physical worker who can follow the AI's instructions. The premium paid for deep, specialized physical knowledge begins to shrink. You still want a human to execute the AI's instructions, but the AI is a much better real-world problem solver than any human in phase 2. Years after both the pixels and hybrid categories hit phase 3 of the real-world category. In phase 3, robots have been deployed at such a large scale, first in industrial use, and then as their real-world training data and capabilities increase in consumer applications. Robots reach a price point where they make financial sense for small businesses and residential applications. Now, humans become the bottleneck because we need sleep, we demand overtime, and we're much, much, much more expensive. The business models of the trades officially flip from managing human labor to leasing and maintain physical robot fleets. Construction illustrates just how much slower the disruption of real-world industries will be when compared to the physical industries category. Let us compare software development, in which you can do in seconds with one AI, to constructing a whole physical building, in which you need lots of robots and lots of time. These real-world robots wouldn't operate 1,000,000 times faster than a human does. But in software development, the AI does 1,000,000 times the work of a human in the same time. Don't get me wrong, robots will absolutely bring historic, significant cost reductions and speed improvements to our real-world work. But these improvements will forever be dwarfed by the speed in which you can do things in the digital realm. So, we know the order of events and we know what it'll look like. How do you make sure you don't get left behind? Here's your survival playbook. If you work in the pixels industry, if you write code, write copy, or manage digital campaigns, stop tying your identity to the hard technical skills of what you're doing. Shift your skill set to strategy, directing, and idea generation. This will serve you well and allow you to flourish in phase 2 and phase 3. Learn to manage the AI system instead of competing with them. You need to become a CEO, not the copywriter. If you're in a hybrid industry, like healthcare, real estate, or education, don't be a Luddite. Be an early adopter to new technologies. Get a brief edge while it still exists. Let the AI handle the charting, the historical data analysis, and the lesson plans. Double down on what the AI cannot synthesize: humanity, empathy, emotional intelligence, and trust. They're about to become the most premium products when everyone has the same technical skill. Your job will be to guide people through their anxiety, negotiate complex edge cases, and be the accountable human in the loop. The technical floor has been raised for everyone. To stand out, you need to be the ultimate trust builder and communicator, person people enjoy being around. If you're in the real world category, the trades, construction, or agriculture, you do have the longest runway, but complacency will still cost you. Right now, your immediate priority should be conquering phase 1, completely digitizing your back office. Let AI run your scheduling, invoicing, lead generation, and inventory so you can maximize your profit margins and time in the field. As phase 2 arrives, be the first in your local market to adopt augmented reality and AI diagnostic tools. Don't reject the tech out of pride. The real-world category will be the slowest to adopt new AI tools, so you can use that first mover advantage to scale your physical output and digitize as much of your work as possible while others lag behind. Ultimately, you want to position yourself not just as a person turning a wrench, but as the business owner prepared to manage a fleet of machines that will eventually appear. The bottom line is this: AI isn't going to wipe out the economy tomorrow in one giant, unpredictable tidal wave. It's going to upgrade you, then hand off tasks to you, and eventually restructure how your entire industry operates. By understanding whether your work lives in the pixels, hybrid, or the real world, you can anticipate the shifts and ride at the front of the wave instead of being crushed by it. Now, you have the map. It's time to start navigating. If this framework helped clear through the panic and noise, hit the subscribe button. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a video coming up on what happens to society when labor costs drop to near zero and execution is instant. How creative ideas will become the ultimate currency and how you can differentiate yourself in a time like that. You won't want to miss it, so hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching AI Made Simple. I'm here to show you ways you can improve your life using AI. I'll see you in the next one.